Good morning, everyone. I'm Mr. Jordan, and this is SHC Live. Our top story on this Tuesday, November 3rd, today is, of course, Election Day. Even during a pandemic, many SHC students are gaining valuable insight into our democratic process by working at local polling stations today. Among the many things to watch throughout this historic day will be the number of voters who waited until Election Day to vote in person, as we've already seen an unprecedented surge of early voting, particularly in California. This, of course, means we will all likely have to exercise the all-important virtue of patience this evening and quite likely into tomorrow as well, as every state has different procedures for counting and reporting votes. Many are processing mail-in ballots for the first time, and in some states, as long as ballots are postmarked by today, they will still be counted up to a week from now. Up next is our weekly feature, LaSallian Vincentian Words of Wisdom. Each week, adults in our community offer practical advice in this segment. This week, SHC Social Studies teacher Ms. Erin Kaiser offers us some advice on the importance of voting, and not just today.
Good morning, SHC. In my classes, I talk a lot about the promise of democracy inherent in our Constitution, but I haven't been completely honest in my understanding of that promise. There is clearly a different urgency behind the elections this year. And I think the reason for that is because as a country, we are recognizing that the promise of democracy inherent in our Constitution is greatly unfulfilled and unavailable for many of our fellow citizens. It makes me angry and it makes me sad. We're not living in a democracy if people are prevented from voting. And we are not living in a democracy if, as a country, we accept a voter turnout rate of 55.5%. 55% of the eligible population voted in 2016. That is unacceptable. But through all of that, I am still smiling. Why? Because if you turn on the news and you look at the reports of the numbers of people that are voting early, many states are reporting that they are already at their 2016 voter turnout rates. And it's 4 days before the election when I'm hearing these reports. So that makes me excited. Not only do we have voter turnout, but we have high voter turnout. More of us are recognizing that voting is not routine, but that it is a privilege of democracy. So let's remember that today is just one day in the process of democracy. Let's try to remain patient and calm as we await results tonight, which I know is a lot easier said than done. But I am proud of you. I am proud of all you are learning and accomplishing and advocating for. So keep learning, keep advocating, because when you vote, I want you voting with that same level of intensity and integrity and faith. And for SHC Live, this is Ms. Kaiser.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser. If you haven't yet had a chance to exercise that privilege, we hope you'll take these words to heart and take an active role in our democracy whenever you are eligible. We've seen state polling numbers for weeks now, but what do SHC students think about this election? Junior Misao Didion tells us in this report from the SHC Emerald.
Hey SHC, I'm Misao Didion, head of layout and design for the Emerald, our student-run newspaper. We recently did a poll asking students their thoughts on the 2020 election. 80% of students say they disapprove of Trump's presidency and believe he should not be re-elected. Most students are keeping up with the election news, and 90% say they have watched at least one presidential debate. The three most important issues to students are COVID-19, racial justice, and climate change. Here's what some of your fellow students had to say. Trump has done absolutely nothing beneficial towards LGBTQ+ issues. We should be able to talk more about the upcoming election in classes because it's the most important time for our country as a whole right now. Make sure to follow our website, shcpemerald.org, and our Instagram, shcpemerald, where we'll be posting more election-related content. For the Emerald, I'm Misao Didion.
Thanks, Misao. And of course, we look forward to continuing coverage in our online newspaper. You can certainly find more details from that particular poll by going to shcpemerald.org, where you'll find all kinds of election coverage. The SHC community will gather later this week for an online memorial tribute to Justin Love. Here now with a look back at one of the school's favorite sons is coach and counselor, Mr. Lorian Russell.
They say you die when the last person that knows you dies. May you live on forever, Justin Love. Please join us Friday, November 6th at 1 p.m. in honoring Justin Love. May you continue to live forever.
Thanks, Lorian. And we will continue to keep the Love family in our prayers. We conclude today's webcast with another edition of Creative Corner. This week, we get an inside look and listen, courtesy of SHC Choral Director, Mr. Michael Kirshner.
The scene was rockin', now we're digging the sounds. Igor on chains backed by his bang hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five.
They played the mash. They played the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They played the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the Monster Mash.
Out from his coffin Drax's voice did a ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
It's now the mash.
It's now the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
And it's a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
It's now the Monster Mash.
Now everything's cool. Black part of the land. And my Monster Mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant too. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you.
Then you can mash. The Monster Mash. Then you can mash. Then you can mash. Wahoo! Monster Mash, wahoo! Monster Mash, wahoo! Monster Mash, wahoo! Monster Mash, wahoo! Monster Mash.
Thank you, Mr. Kirshner and SHC Choral students. That's it for week 8 of SHC Live. As always, we remind you to submit ideas for video content to shclive@shcp.edu. This is Mr. Jordan signing off again until next Tuesday, and live Jesus in our hearts forever.